Welcome back. It's Natalie with SalonBusinessMarketingTools.com, and I have been sharing for some reason in the last week or so, talking with people about hiring a virtual assistant. I have personally been using a virtual assistant for over probably 6 or 7 years now, and to be honest with you, I wish I had been using one 6 or 7 years prior to that. I absolutely love my virtual assistant. My virtual assistant is actually one of my virtual assistants is named Goldie, and I absolutely love her. And I have another one by the name of Faith. They are wonderful. They are great at what they do, and you know what? Everyone needs help. None of us are able to build everything on our own. Now, being in the salon industry and the beauty industry, I find that it is a great resource for us to have as busy professionals. I mean, between not being able to answer our phones, especially if you're an independent stylist and operator, sometimes you can't answer your phone timely. They're going into voicemail. People aren't leaving messages. You can't maybe get certain marketing things done, especially from an internet marketing standpoint, because you don't have time, because you're too busy servicing clients, or you're taking a break with your family. You just don't have the time. So I find that a easy and great solution is a virtual assistant. I mean, and your virtual assistant can be anywhere. They can be here in the United States. They could be in the United Kingdom. They could be in the Philippines. They could be in India. They could be in Guatemala. I mean, wherever they can speak your language and communicate with you, you can possibly have a virtual assistant. I want to share with you the top 5 things to look for when deciding to use a virtual assistant for your business. Number 1 is going to be, you want to find someone who speaks your language. If you speak Spanish, then obviously you want a virtual assistant that speaks Spanish. If you speak English, like I do, that's my main language. My primary language is English. Then I have to have a virtual assistant that can speak English. I have to be able to communicate with my virtual assistant. So that's the first tip. You want to find a virtual assistant that can communicate with you effectively, because understand a lot of things you'll be doing via Skype, via email, and via phone. So you want to make sure that she can understand you, and you can understand them. The second thing you want to look for is hire a reputable virtual assistant company. Not so much an individual. Once you get your foot wet with using a virtual assistant, you can go out on your own and hire an individual, because then you'll know what to look for. You'll know exactly what you need. You'll have everything together. However, initially, I would highly suggest that you look at hiring a virtual assistant company. The reason why is because they already have things together. They've usually helped people in your industry, in your field, doing some of the things you'll probably need your virtual assistant to do. They can pull it together. You don't have to worry about them being closed or not being available. Someone will always be available to help you. If your virtual assistant from the company happens to call off, they always normally have a backup. So there's someone else that knows how to do what he or she was doing for you. So that's one of the reasons why you want to hire a virtual assistant company versus going out and hiring an individual yourself. Plus, you can make sure that the work gets done. If they haven't done a good job, then you don't pay them. You don't have to worry about folks asking you for advances or saying you have to pay me this way or that way, and not being sure of their skills. A virtual assistant company will definitely hire people or train them in the skills needed to do the job that you're requesting. The third thing you want to look for is a specialist in regards to your task. If you need a virtual assistant to answer the phone for you, then you want someone who knows how to answer the phone, right? If you have a virtual assistant that needs to do a lot of research for you online, you want someone who's very proficient or good at utilizing the internet, who can provide research items in a timely manner, not someone that's going to take 8 hours to find 2 or 3 hair coloring pictures. You don't want that. So you want to make sure that whatever assistant you hire, that is someone who knows how to do the task at hand. Number 4 is going to be a training system in place. You want to make sure that you have a training system in place and that the company you're using has a training system in place. Just because you hire a virtual assistant doesn't mean that you're just going to roll right into it and they're going to start working and can read your mind. The same way you would hire an employee at your salon and you would train them to do the things you need them to do is the same thing you will have to do with your virtual assistant. If you have a good virtual assistant, it will not be hard for them to catch on. If you have your objectives detailed and your requirements laid out, and you actually show them how to do whatever it is. The last thing is efficiency and affordability. You heard me speak a little bit about time before when finding someone who can complete the tasks that you need. Being efficient is very, very important. Again, you don't want someone wasting your time. Typically, you're paying a virtual assistant by the hour, just like you would an employee, or by the month. And you want to make sure that they're able to get the job done in a reasonable amount of time. It should not take them all day to find pictures. It should not take them all day to make phone calls. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure they can do the job effectively and efficiently. And if they can't, as soon as you notice they can't, you need to contact the company, let them know, and tell them you need a different person because they're not able to get the job done, and you know how long it should take. And then, of course, there's affordability. The great part about using a virtual assistant, and some people may get a little bit upset with me when I make this statement, is that if you happen to go outside of the United States, you're going to find that hiring a virtual assistant is very affordable. Let me say that. I mean, you could end up paying someone $4 or $5 an hour to be your virtual assistant. I mean, less than $200 or $300 a week for them to be a full-time employee or virtual assistant for you. Now, I know that seems like a small wage, but you have to understand in other countries that is a good income or a good living. So you don't need to feel bad about what it is that you're paying them if it's $200 or $300, as long as it's fair and comparable to their culture and their country. Again, you can find people in the United States that will work for you as a virtual assistant that are very affordable as well. You just have to do your research. So I hope these 5 tips of what to look for in a virtual assistant has been helpful. Those are my top 5 things. Again, I have used a virtual assistant for years. I absolutely love it. I've never looked back on it. And I suggest that as a salon professional growing their business and getting ready to make moves and make changes, not only behind the chair, but from behind the chair, creating additional income, a virtual assistant is the way to go. If you have any comments or suggestions about this topic, definitely leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. Again, I'm Natalie with SalonBusinessMarketingTools.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and if you like what you've heard, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.